What it is, my 10 Peace and Grease here, and today's WDIF, or Where Do I Find, is mutagen samples. Now, I'm not going to pull any punches with you guys. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is, and it's this way. Mutagen samples are an absolute motherfucker to farm. They suck. They are horrible. In fact, there was a meme for years. I believe it was Steve from DE, where he said something about it raining mutagen samples, which has never, ever happened in the history of Warframe. Suffice it to say, if you're in a clan and you're looking at trying to build the HEMA, I'll keep my editorial notes to myself on the HEMA. But depending on how many people you have in your clan, you could need anywhere from 3,000, 15,000, 20,000 mutagen samples just to build the damn HEMA. So where do you go? What do you do to get these damn mutagen samples? Okay, so what I decided to do was to go ahead and do some testing and figure out the absolute best location. So as it stands now, there are two locations you can farm mutagen samples. The first one is Eris. Now, a couple years ago, ACAD and Zabala on Eris were fantastic to farm mutagen samples, ACAD being the defense, Zabala being the survival, on top of which they were dark sectors, meaning that you get bonuses for these dark sector missions. In this case, with ACAD, you get 30% resource drop rate, additional 23% XP from kills, and additional 18% XP from melee kills. Zabala having a 30% resource drop rate, 23% additional XP from kills, and additional 18% XP from pistol kills. So it stands to reason that, okay, well, these are obviously going to be the best place to farm mutagen samples. However, in my testing, and from what I know from experience, this is not the case. And I'll get into that more in a minute. So where did I do my testing? I did it on the Orokin Derelict. So whenever you hear somebody in any kind of chat in Warframe talking about ODD or ODS, what they're talking about is ODD is Orokin Derelict Defense. ODS is Orokin Derelict Survival. These two locations seem to work the best in my testing, for solo, that is. So what I did was I had no resource booster, no drop chance booster, nothing like that active, and I jumped into just running 10 waves on ODD with a Despoil Necros, and it just simply means I have a Despoil Augment on my Necros build. That's all that it means. I jumped in with the Grand Prime, which is a slash-based melee weapon, with my Necros, and I basically ran 10 waves. After completing those 10 waves on ODD with no boosters, I got 18 mutagen samples. Yeah, that was pretty abysmal. So I went ahead and purchased a resource booster and ran another 10 waves on ODD, and ended up with 26 mutagen samples. Again, not a huge jump, but it is, mind you, an increase. So then I went ahead and purchased a drop chance booster. Why? Well, because a few months ago, DE said that they tweaked the drop chance booster, so now there's a chance of actually seeing some of these rare resources. You have a better opportunity of them popping up. So I went ahead and purchased a drop chance booster and ran another 10 waves. Now, one thing I do notice that differed on this wave with the drop chance, this 10 waves on the drop chance booster versus without it, was I was seeing mutagen samples crop up more on the common enemies, like the leapers, the runners, and the chargers, versus without the drop chance booster. Not all the time, but on occasion. As a result, I ended up with 32 mutagen samples. Again, not a huge increase, but it was an increase nonetheless. So at this point, you're probably wondering, okay, Peace, but how did ACAD on Eris compare? Well, running 10 waves, again, solo, on ACAD in Eris, I ended up with 4 mutagen samples. I'll say it again, 4. Yeah, 4. And that was with a booster and a resource booster and a drop chance booster. I ended up with 4 mutagen samples. Yeah, it was horrible. So I went ahead and decided to run 15 waves on ODD. And the reason for this was because DE has said that they've tweaked the drop rates of resources now. So if you stay longer in a mission, the resources will drop more often. As a result, in those 15 waves, I ended up with 100 mutagen samples for 15 waves. All right, of course, that's obviously with the resource booster and drop chance booster clicking. On a side note, I did end up also with 4 Neuroids, 4 Orokin cells, and 1 Mutalistalad V nav coordinate. So, yeah, that was a plus side right there. So then I decided, okay, well, if 15 waves is better, 20 waves is going to be best. So I went ahead and started running 20 waves on ODD, Orokin Derelict Defense. My first 20 waves, I ended up with about 100. In fact, all 3 of my 20 wave runs on ODD was averaged out to about 100 mutagen samples each. On top of which, I was getting anywhere from 4 to 8 Orokin cells and 4 to 8 neuroids per 20 waves as well. So, first things first here. What does all this mean? Well, this is all solo. So if you've got to run these missions solo, you can do that. And as I said, you're going to get about in 20 waves with a resource booster and a drop chance booster, as well as a Smita Kavat. You're going to get about 100 mutagen samples. And this could differ depending on your RNG. However, if you're going to run ODD, I gotta recommend that you run with the full squad. And the reason for this is because if you have a full squad, you're going to have more enemies spawn. More enemies spawn mean you're going to have more opportunities for your mutagen samples to drop. Makes sense, right? Also, the longer you stay in a mission, the more likely you are to get the Smita buff for the extra resources. So that's another plus to staying in the mission longer. If you have to solo it, you don't have a full squad, that's fine. You can, like I said, you can expect about 100 mutagen samples, which isn't great, but it's better than a lot of what we've had to deal with over the past couple of years. So, yeah. So let me know down in the comment section below how your mutagen sample is faring, what your favorite location to farm is. And until next time, peace and grace.